This film is purely fictional. Please do not imitate it. Your like and subscribe are the motivation for me to update. Chapter 915. Hey you sissy. A deep voice echoed in the dark-skinned PE student's ears, startling him. In an instant, many thoughts flashed through the dark-skinned PE student's mind. Who's speaking? Is it a person or a ghost? What should I do? His brain hadn't figured out what to do, but his body had already acted instinctively. Die! The dark-skinned PE student unleashed a series of ferocious, wild punches with lightning speed. The surrounding air was shattered by the force of his punches, creating a series of sonic booms. He was fast, but Na Fong was even faster. Na Fong simply tossed his head, tucked in his stomach, and stuck out his buttocks, dodging all the punches aimed at him. The dark-skinned PE student punched at thin air for a while, finding nothing, before finally withdrawing his fist, frowning and muttering to himself, "Nobody? Was I just hallucinating?" He lowered his head, feigning deep thought. Just as Na Fong was about to whisper something in his ear, the dark-skinned PE student suddenly started throwing wild punches again. "Ah, I see you. Die!" The dark-skinned PE student roared like a madman, his fists flailing wildly, the fierce wind from his punches slamming large craters into the surrounding walls. But he still only hit air, not even touching the hem of Na Fong's clothes. Na Fong coldly watched the somewhat deranged dark-skinned PE student. After witnessing Song He's death, Na Fong made a decision. He wouldn't let the dark-skinned PE student die too easily. That would be too unfair to Song He. Na Fong will take it slow, torment him to death. "Your Majesty! Your Majesty!" A series of shouts and footsteps echoed outside the cave. It was the black-skinned physicist's men who had heard the commotion and were rushing over. Could it be that I was hallucinating? The black-skinned physicist stopped what he was doing, scanning his surroundings. He released his magic, exploring every corner of the cave inch by inch, but still found nothing. He was the only one in the entire cave. That sound just now. Perhaps it really was just a hallucination. Tap, tap, tap. At this moment, his men arrived at the door, kneeling down in a flurry. "Your Majesty, what happened?" "Nothing." The black-skinned physicist straightened his clothes and said calmly, "I was just practicing my martial arts on a whim." Hearing this, everyone immediately began to flatter him. "Your Majesty's fist technique is incredibly powerful. It must have reached its pinnacle. I ask you, who in this world could withstand a single punch from Your Majesty? Your Majesty's fist technique is truly superb. Even if Long Woody were alive, he would be ashamed of his inferiority upon seeing Your Majesty's fist technique." The dark-skinned physique student smiled slightly. "All right, no need to flatter me. How are the tasks I just instructed you to complete?" Someone spoke up. "Your Majesty, all 32 shielding arrays have been activated. No one can use magic to spy on the situation inside the palace." "Your Majesty, all 16 illusion arrays have been activated. All entrances and exits are covered by illusion arrays, and outsiders absolutely cannot find an entrance to enter the palace." "Your Majesty, scouts report that they have discovered traces of the southern city people near the Qifeng Inn. They are surrounding Qifeng Mountain." Upon hearing this, the dark-skinned athletic student frowned deeply. "They arrived so quickly? Those 3 stupid women. Fine, I stay here. No matter how hard they try, they won't be able to find their way in." The dark-skinned athletic student was extremely confident in the various formations within the cave. If asked who in this entire primitive world possessed the most profound understanding of formations, the dark-skinned athletic student would undoubtedly be number 1. Because others were too lazy to delve into this stuff. It was precisely because of formations that the dark-skinned athletic student had the courage to ambush the chosen one of Nancheng. At this moment, outside Qifeng Mountain, Shinpan was leading the people of Nancheng. Searching for the cave, he remembered halfway up the mountain. "Strange, I clearly remember it being right here." Shinpan scratched his head, staring blankly at the perfectly intact stone wall before him. Such a large cave. How could it just vanish without a trace? In the sky, Chung Mo slowly descended on his flying sword. "I checked Qifeng Mountain with my magic. There are no caves inside, not even many cracks. It's uninhabitable." Shinpan explained urgently. "Impossible. There's definitely a cave here. I couldn't be mistaken." "You all step back." Su Ming raised his giant shield and slammed it against the cliff face in front of him. Boom! Large chunks of rock fell. The cliff face was completely solid. Where was the cave entrance? How could this be? Shinpan murmured, "I clearly saw it. Could it be that I really saw a ghost?" Whoosh! Down the mountain, Wu Yuansheng darted to the group. "Brothers, those 3 girls who drank with us last night are all dead." "What?" Chung Mo shouted excitedly. Seeing the strange looks from everyone, Chung Mo said sheepishly, "Sigh, it's a bit of a pity. This lead has gone cold." Suzerain pondered, "Those 3 women are dead, which means someone is preventing us from investigating, which just proves we come to the right place." Everyone looked at Suzerain. "What do we do now?" Suzerain waved his hand and made a decision directly. "We move the mountain. Even if there's a rat hiding in the mountain, we drag it out today." "Okay, then let's move the mountain." Chung Mo controlled his flying sword to soar into the sky, then put his index and middle fingers together and shouted, "Sword, come!" A shadow blocked the sunlight. Chung Mo's flying sword became enormous, descending from the sky and slashing straight towards Qingfeng Mountain. Boom! The earth shook inside Qingfeng Mountain. The violent shaking made the dark-skinned PE student's face change. "What's going on?" "Your Majesty, they seem to be splitting the mountain." "Are all the people from Nanchung gangsters? Without any evidence, they're just starting to demolish homes?" "I remember you Chosen One saying something like this. Sweeping away gangsters requires evidence. Suppressing rebellions only requires coordinates." "Suppressing rebellion?" The dark-skinned physical education student's already dark face darkened even more. His arrays could only be used to shield perception and create illusions. They couldn't withstand this kind of violence. If he had known the people from Nanchung would split the mountain right away, why was he hiding here? Now the entire Qingfeng Mountain is surrounded. It's too late for them to escape. At this point, there's nothing we can do but... The dark-skinned physical education student glanced at his subordinates. Although subduing these people had taken him a lot of time and effort, now that their lives were at stake, he had no choice but to abandon them. These natives couldn't possibly escape from the hands of the people from Nanchung. But he could, because he was the Chosen One, he could teleport. The people of Nanchung were still splitting the mountain, he had plenty of time to escape. But how could Nanfeng let the dark-skinned PE student have his way? He stood behind the dark-skinned PE student, extended a finger, and gently tapped the student's tactical watch. "Ah, the Chosen One? Sorry, fate hasn't chosen you yet." Chapter 916. Crack. A barely perceptible cracking sound echoed in the cave. Nanfeng's finger strike instantly refined the dark-skinned physicist's tactical watch. As the owner of the tactical watch, the dark-skinned physicist immediately sensed something was wrong. He tried to summon his control panel, but there was no signal within a 10-mile radius of Qingfeng Mountain. How could he summon it? What's going on? Where's my control panel? Where's my system? Where's my backpack? The dark-skinned physicist panicked. Unable to open his backpack meant he couldn't teleport away. Chung Mo's sword strike had cleaved Qingfeng Mountain in two. If this cave hadn't been located on the right side of the mountain, they would have been found by the people from Nanchung long ago. He could hide for a while, but not forever. The dark-skinned physicist knew that staying here meant certain death. But he couldn't open his backpack, couldn't use the teleportation array, so how could he leave? A feeling of despair rose in his heart. Why is this happening? The dark-skinned sports student slumped to the ground, utterly dejected, muttering, "My creation God's system. Why is it suddenly unusable? Am I going to die here?" Even the most arrogant and conceited sports student understood the gap between himself and the people of Nanchung. If it were only 1 or 2 people, he was confident he could put up a fight. But this time, Nanchung had sent over 100 people, each one an elite among elites, completely surrounding Qingfeng Mountain. Escape from them was harder than climbing to heaven. The sports student's spirit instantly deflated. He slumped to the ground, utterly disheartened, having lost most of his will to live. This was a situation Nanfeng didn't want to see. Tormenting a dark-skinned physical education student with no will to live for 100 years wouldn't be satisfying. Nanfeng pondered for a moment and made a decision. He would first give the dark-skinned physical education student a glimmer of hope, then plunge him into utter despair. Thinking this, Nanfeng slowly leaned close to the dark-skinned physical education student's ear and said in a very mechanical tone, "Ding. Congratulations on binding with the strongest prank system of all realms. The system is loading." The dark-skinned physical education student was stunned. The strongest prank system of all realms? What was that? Nanfeng looked at the dark-skinned physical education student's confused expression and roughly guessed what he was thinking. He continued, "This system has traversed countless realms and bound itself to numerous hosts, all of whom have become gods. Simply complete the tasks issued by this system to obtain various god-level rewards, and even become a god who controls this world." Complete tasks? Obtain rewards? Become a god? Is this the plot of some wish-fulfillment novel? The dark-skinned physical education student hesitated, somewhat disbelieving. He discreetly surveyed his surroundings, trying to see if anyone was plotting something. But everyone present was weaker than him, who could speak under his nose without being detected. Could it be true? Am I really like those protagonists in wish-fulfillment novels, bound to a system? The dark-skinned physical education student, adopting a better safe than sorry attitude, subconsciously asked in his mind, System, what task do I need to complete? System? System? Can you hear me? Strange. Is it not fully loaded yet? Nanfeng couldn't hear the dark-skinned physical education student's thoughts, so naturally, he couldn't answer his question. The dark-skinned PE student silently cried out for a long time, but received no response from the system. Time waits for no one. Outside Qifeng Mountain, Chung Imo once again slashed horizontally with his sword, cutting Qifeng Mountain in half. This sword shattered 3 formations, and the illusion formation protecting the cave also failed at this moment. There really is a cave! Su Ming exclaimed. Shen Pancheng didn't lie to me. Shen Pancheng retorted irritably, Why would I lie to you? Am I crazy? Wu Yuansheng retreated behind Su Ming and said in a deep voice, Stop talking nonsense. Su Ming, you lead the way, everyone else follow. Don't let the people inside escape. Charge! 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 Brothers, be careful! If there's danger, hide behind Su Ming. Su Ming, shielding himself with his large shield, charged ahead and entered the cave. Shen Pancheng, Chung Imo, Wu Yuansheng, and more than 30 other chosen ones from the South City followed closely behind, while the others continued to surround Qifeng Mountain, not letting a single fly escape. Less than 30 meters into the cave, a barrage of arrows shot out from the walls on both sides, at least 1,000 in total. Su Ming frowned. Such an archaic mechanism? Who could this possibly kill? He raised his shield and slammed it against the wall, instantly causing cracks to spread across the entire surface, shattering it into pieces. The mechanism set up inside the walls naturally became ineffective. They encountered more than a dozen similar mechanisms along the way. Some shot arrows from the walls, some had spikes emerging from the ground, some had sledgehammers falling from above. These mechanisms were powered by magic. They might be able to ambush level 30-plus newbies, but against this group of elite soldiers from the southern city, they were completely useless. Soon, 7 forks in the road appeared before them. Which way? Su Ming turned and asked. Wu Yuansheng stepped forward, drew his bow, and simultaneously fired 7 magical arrows. The 7 arrows seemed to have eyes, flying towards different forks in the road. Boom! 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 Explosions rang out in succession. Wu Yuansheng's eyes narrowed, and he pointed straight ahead. Everyone gather in this direction, let's go! Savage charge! Su Ming shouted, raising his shield and charging headlong into the cave. Deep within the cave, a series of explosions sent a shiver down the spines of the dark-skinned physique student and the others. They knew the people from Nancheng had already broken in. What should we do? What do we do? What do we do? Are we going to die? Song He's death has nothing to do with me, I should survive. The dark-skinned physical education student, looking at his panicked subordinates, roared, Enough. Shut up. You all, go outside and hold them off, buy me some time. Just 3 minutes, I have a way to deal with them. Seeing the dark-skinned physical education student's confident demeanor, the crowd felt a surge of confidence. Just 3 minutes. This task was extremely difficult, but not impossible. 3 minutes is all we ask for. Even if we die, we will buy your majesty 3 minutes. Let's go! Let's meet these so-called chosen ones of Nancheng. Yes, meet them. The group charged out aggressively. Inside the cave, only the dark-skinned physical education student and Nanfeng, whose figure was nowhere to be seen, remained. The dark-skinned PE student hesitated for a moment, then said in a slightly embarrassed low voice, System? System? Are you there? Nanfeng's voice was mechanical. I'm here. The dark-skinned PE student's face lit up with joy. Great. The system really is here. What he had just heard wasn't an illusion. As if grasping at a lifeline, the dark-skinned PE student hurriedly asked, System, I also have a creation god system, but it suddenly malfunctioned for some reason. Can you help me repair it? If he could repair the creation god system, he could use the teleportation array to escape. As for those people outside, who cares about their lives? Letting them stall for 3 minutes was just a trick. Nanfeng mechanically replied, Sorry, due to the system's excessive power, the other system was completely formatted during the binding process, making repair impossible. Formatted? The dark-skinned PE student was stunned. You ruined my creation god system? Nanfeng replied, Yes. What a piece of junk this system is. It's really harmful. The dark-skinned PE student cursed inwardly. He then asked, "So, which is more powerful, you or the creation god system?" Nanfeng sneered and immediately began making up a story. This world is just a small world among countless realms. Your so-called creation god system is merely a system within this small world. But I, the strongest mischief system in all realms. It can traverse countless heavens and worlds, creating countless gods. Who do you think is more powerful, me or the creation god system? Chapter 917. Nanfeng spoke eloquently, rattling off a string of words that left the dark-skinned physical education student completely bewildered. Was this new system really that powerful? Even stronger than the creator god system? The dark-skinned physical education student felt things weren't so simple. He pondered deeply, carefully considering Nanfeng's words. A lie is always a lie. Give the dark-skinned physical education student time to process what he said, and he would surely discover the various loopholes in Nanfeng's words. Therefore, Nanfeng wouldn't give him time to think. Instead, he pressed his advantage, shouting, "Ding! The strongest prankster system of all realms has been loaded. Confirming host identity information. Name?" The dark-skinned physical education student hesitated for a moment, then subconsciously answered, "Kong Jiashu." Nanfeng raised an eyebrow slightly. Kong Jiashu? That name sounded familiar. He didn't dwell on it, instead speeding up the pace, bombarding the dark-skinned physical education student with questions, giving him no chance to think seriously. Gender? Male. Age? 43. Meanwhile, outside the cave, Kong Jiashu's men had already encountered the group from Nancheng. "Who are you? How dare you trespass on private property?" Kong Jiashu had just said that if he only needed to buy 3 minutes, he would have a way to deal with the group from Nancheng. Therefore, his men didn't plan to attack, but instead intended to use verbal sparring to stall for time without bloodshed. In their view, the chosen one from Nancheng was, after all, a person of some standing. They couldn't just start beating him up right away, could they? They only needed to hurl a few words, and 3 minutes would be easily passed, right? If the dark-skinned PE student could handle these chosen ones of South City by then, that would be ideal. If not, they could switch sides and pin all the blame on Kong Jiashu. They heard that the people of South City valued human rights highly. These accomplices might be able to save their lives. But things didn't go as they expected. Wu Yuansheng coldly glanced at them and roared, "Knock them all out, and take them back to South City." Su Ming didn't hesitate at all, grabbing his large shield and banging it wildly. Clang! 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 With a series of crisp sounds, all of Kong Jiashu's men were unconscious on the ground. Cheng Mo's lips twitched. "Dude, are you just going to attack like this? At least ask a couple of questions first. What if you grab the wrong person? That would be so embarrassing." Su Ming twisted his neck a couple of times, and said in a muffled voice, "Old Wu said to attack, so let's attack." Wu Yuansheng said coldly, "I won't grab the wrong person. None of these guys are clean. Do you know what my spying arrows saw in the other caves?" Hearing this, everyone turned to look at Wu Yuansheng, waiting for what he would say next. Wu Yuansheng took a deep breath and slowly said, "You can see for yourselves later. There's another person deep in this cave, probably their leader. Go grab him first." Su Ming nodded, raised his shield, and continued forward. Deep in the cave, Kong Jiashu listened to the approaching footsteps, his heart growing increasingly panicked. He no longer had time to consider whether this prank system was real or fake. He could only place all his hopes for survival on it. "System, someone outside is trying to kill me. Can you save me?" Kong Jiashu asked in a panic. Nanfeng mechanically replied, "Of course. Just keep causing trouble, and you earn trouble points. These points can be exchanged for various valuable items in the shop to help you quickly become a god." Trouble points? The shop? Kong Jiashu's face lit up with joy. "System, open the shop. I want to see what amazing treasures are in there." Nanfeng's expression froze. Oh no! Where is he going to get the entire shop system? Fortunately, Nanfeng reacted quickly, speaking in a high-pitched voice. "The shop will only open after the host completes the newbie prank mission." Kong Jiashu hurriedly said, "Then quickly issue me the newbie mission." Nanfeng recited the mission he had already prepared. Ding! Newbie prank mission issued. Please perform a striptease in public. Prank successful. Reward. Level 45 Emperor Experience card. 3-minute version, and the shop function will be unlocked. Prank failed. The system will be unbound from the host. Kong Jiashu's face darkened. What? You want me to perform a striptease in public? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I can't do something so shameless. I'd rather die than do it. Boom. A loud noise interrupted their conversation. Su Ming punched through the stone door and strode in, looking at Kong Jiashu. You're the leader here? You're really dark-skinned. Behind him, the people from Nancheng gradually entered the cave. Huh? This guy seems to be a chosen one? Look, there are so many natal divine weapons embedded in this wall. My goodness, this has killed quite a few people. Everyone make way. A woman pushed through the crowd and stepped to the front. She was petite, with a baby face, and held a strangely smiling doll in her arms. It was Yi Piaoling from Nancheng. Yi Piaoling tilted her head slightly, staring blankly at Kong Jiashu, and said coldly, Did you kill Song He? Kong Jiashu stood with his hands behind his back, his face arrogant, and calmly denied, Who is Song He? I don't know her. Nanfeng scoffed inwardly. Looking at his pose, I thought he would bravely admit it, but he's still a coward. Su Ming tapped his fist on the shield twice, making a duong-duong sound. He chuckled coldly, You won't admit it, huh? Then I see if you can withstand my southern city's great memory restoration technique. With that, Su Ming strode forward, grabbed Kong Jiashu by the collar, and lifted him up. Wait! Kong Jiashu's face was grim as he held out a hand, saying, I do know who Song He is, but I didn't kill her. Someone else killed her. Yi Piaoling pressed, Who killed her? Kong Jiashu looked at Su Ming and added, Put me down first. I have something Song He left me before she died. I show it to you. Su Ming glanced at him, then turned to look at the group of Southern City brothers behind him. Wu Yuansheng, Shen Pan, Cheng Mo, and the others pondered for a moment, then nodded slightly. Little Black Man was only level 45. What trouble could he possibly cause? Apart from Shen Pan, any one of the others could easily beat Kong Jiashu. Even if things go wrong, it's okay. Nanfeng already said in the group chat that he's nearby and can intervene at any time. No matter how strong this little black guy is, can he possibly be stronger than Nanfeng? You better not try anything funny. Su Ming slowly released his grip. Kong Jiashu took a deep breath, then exhaled heavily. Who? Just thinking about what he was about to do made Kong Jiashu's dark cheeks flush red, an unprecedented sense of shame creeping into his heart. As long as I can survive, what does the shame matter? Kong Jiashu cheered himself on in his heart. He slowly twisted his body, performing a striptease with extremely seductive movements. Seemingly feeling that such a dry striptease wouldn't be effective enough and might prevent him from completing the mission, Kong Jiashu even started singing a cappella, adding his own background music. The train is heading towards spring. Every dream will come true. Chapter 918. Under everyone's watchful eyes, Kong Jiashu took off his clothes, revealing his dark, delicate shoulders. This stunned Su Ming, who instinctively took 2 steps back, his face grim. Could this little dark-skinned man be a lady boy? Good heavens, I was so close to him just now. I even grabbed his collar. Am I unclean now? Su Ming wailed inwardly. The other chosen ones from South City also watched this absurd scene with disgust. These 30-odd naked gazes swept over Kong Jiashu's entire body. Kong Jiashu wanted to disappear into a hole in the ground in shame. It was too humiliating. He had never been so humiliated in his life. This was worse than death for him. Today, no one would leave here alive. An overwhelming killing intent rose in Kong Jiashu's heart. He would not allow what happened today to spread. And to kill these people from South City, he could only rely on the power of the prank system. System, have I completed my mission? Kong Jiashu silently asked in his mind. Nanfeng couldn't hear Kong Jiashu's thoughts, but from his slightly puzzled expression, he could tell what Kong Jiashu was thinking. The mission is not yet complete. The host needs to strip completely naked and shock everyone's eyes to consider the performance a success, Nanfeng said in a voice only Kong Jiashu could hear. What? Kong Jiashu's writhing body froze, his face turning incredibly ugly. He actually had to strip naked? Damn system, wasn't it supposed to be a striptease? Why do I have to take off my pants too? Now that things had come to this, Kong Jiashu couldn't give up halfway, and could only grit his teeth and start pulling up his belt. Meanwhile, he was singing in a flamboyant tone, Come on, have fun, we have plenty of time. Su Ming, his face filled with terror, retreated repeatedly. What are you doing? I call the police if you keep this up. Kong Jiashu flicked his pinky finger and winked, Come on, hold me tight. This scene was truly an eyesore. Everyone in Nancheng showed disgust, their faces scrunched up. Kong Jiashu, seeing this, sneered inwardly, Humph, a bunch of fools, you missed your last chance to stop me. He swiftly pulled down his underwear, censored. Ugh, so little. Cheng Mo commented disdainfully. Don't you guys think his behavior is crazy? Su Zuran stepped forward, shielding Yi Piaoling behind him. I have a feeling he's performing some kind of strange ritual. Stop watching, subdue him first. Su Ming, who had long since lost his temper, grabbed his shield and hurled it. You pervert, die. Thump. Kong Jiaxu was sent flying, creating a crater over 10 meters deep. After being struck twice by Cheng Mo's sword, Qingfeng Mountain was already teetering on the brink of collapse. Now, after Su Ming's attack, it began to shake violently. Crash! A large amount of rubble fell from the cave's ceiling, making the cave seem like it was about to collapse. Why did you use so much force? We have to dig him out. Sorry, I just couldn't resist. This guy is disgusting. Everyone else, get out of here first. Su Ming, you're in charge of bringing that pervert out. Suzerain led the others out of the cave, leaving Su Ming alone. Su Ming frowned, clearly disgusted. Why do I have to do all the dirty and tiring work? I wish I hadn't come. He moved several boulders with his bare hands, searching for Kong Jiaxu embedded in the mountainside. Kong Jiaxu spat out a mouthful of blood. He had reacted quickly enough to raise his arms to block Su Ming's shield strike, but he was still seriously injured. His elbows and knees burned with pain. Both are level 45, yet the difference in strength is so vast. Kong Jiaxu grinned self-deprecatingly. I heard that Su Ming's strength isn't even in the top 10 in Nancheng. At this moment, Kong Jiaxu truly understood the meaning of the so-called secret foundation in those fantasy novels. Bullshit, who said I can't be in the top 10? Su Ming cursed as he turned over the pile of rubble, grabbed Kong Jiaxu's ankle, and dragged him outside. I'm just not good at offense, but when it comes to defense, even Brother Luo would need 2 strikes to kill me. You're the chosen one. You should know who Brother Luo is, right? Yes, it's the Sword Saint Xiao Luo, so my buddy. Kong Jiaxu ignored Su Ming's incessant chatter, and instead muttered to himself in a low voice, System. Is the mission complete? Ding! The newcomer's amusing adventure mission is complete. Level 45 Emperor Trial Card, 3-minute version, has been issued. The shop is open loading. 0.1%, 0.2%. Kong Jiaxu cursed under his breath. What a crappy shop, loading so slowly. By the time it finishes loading, I have passed my 7th day after death. Unable to rely on the items in the shop, Kong Jiaxu could only pin his hopes for survival on another reward. System, what is this level 45 Emperor Experience card? How do I use it? Kong Jiaxu asked in a low voice. Nanfeng mechanically explained, as the name suggests, the level 45 Emperor Experience card temporarily grants you the power of a level 45 Emperor. What's the use of that? Kong Jiaxu retorted irritably. There are level 45 experts everywhere outside. This card won't save me. System, can you give me a level 46 experience card? Su Ming, who was in front of him, turned around. What are you muttering about? Shut your mouth, or I beat you up. Things had come to this point, and Kong Jiaxu dared not hesitate any longer. He decisively said, System, I want to use the experience card. Nanfeng, ding! Level 45 Emperor experience card successfully used. Countdown ended, 179 seconds. In his mind's eye, Kong Jiaxu felt a power circulating within his body. It was Nanfeng who had channeled a trace of magic into him. Is this the power of a level 45 Emperor? So much stronger than me. Sure enough, there's a difference even at level 45. Kong Jiaxu laughed gleefully, roaring to the sky, come on, let's get this going. Thump! Su Ming turned and slammed his shield on Kong Jiaxu's head, shouting, Are you crazy? What are you yelling about? Hee. Kong Jiaxu's eyes turned cold, revealing a ferocious smile. Didn't you eat? Why doesn't it hurt when you hit me? Su Ming's lips curled into a smile. Then I give you a real punch. Charge slam. The giant shield pierced the air with a sharp whistling sound, crashing down on Kong Jiaxu. But Kong Jiaxu, possessing a trace of Nanfeng's magic power, simply extended a finger and blocked the attack. Su Ming was shocked and immediately retreated, shouting, Help! You think you can just walk away after hitting me? Today, none of you from Nancheng are leaving. Kong Jiaxu took a step forward, arriving in front of Su Ming, and unleashed a terrifying punch he could never have thrown in his entire life. Chapter 919. Boom! A deafening roar. Qingfeng Mountain exploded before everyone's eyes. Countless fragments of rock flew in all directions, some even being hurled into outer space by the terrifying impact. Amidst this hail-like shower of debris, Su Ming's body traced a perfect parabola through the air, landing in front of Wu Yuansheng. Old Su. How are you? Wu Yuansheng quickly helped Su Ming up. What happened? Su Ming stood up, dazed. I don't know, I just got here too. He was genuinely confused. Su Ming had truly felt the terrifying power contained in Kong Jiashu's punch. This rain of debris proved his feeling was correct. Look, one punch shattered a mountain. Isn't that terrifying? But strangely, that punch clearly landed squarely on Su Ming yet. He didn't feel a thing. Did it miss? Or, am I already dead? Su Ming wondered, bewildered. Whoosh, just then, an extremely arrogant figure soared into the sky, letting out a hearty laugh. Ha ha ha, I succeeded. I succeeded? Su Zern flashed to Su Ming's side and said in a deep voice, Su Ming, what's going on? What happened to him? I don't know. Su Ming shrugged, looking innocent. He suddenly became incredibly powerful. He's probably using a cheat code. There's a very strong energy fluctuation within him. He might be at the peak of level 45. Wu Yuansheng gritted his teeth, knocked an arrow, and said, never mind, strike first. A volley of arrows. Wu Yuansheng unleashed his full power, multicolored elemental arrows shooting straight at the Kongjia tree in midair. Humph, child's play? Kong Jiashu sneered, extending a finger and shouting, behold my great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger. Kong Jiashu struck a very cool pose, but nothing happened. Whoosh! 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 Boom! Crack! Crack! Various elemental arrows struck Kong Jiashu. Some exploded, some emitted electricity, and others emitted a bone-chilling cold. In less than 2 seconds, Kong Jiashu was riddled with arrows. What's with the act? Wu Yuansheng's heart, which had been pounding, relaxed. He said speechlessly, great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger, huh? You made me so nervous. The other chosen ones of Nancheng also breathed a sigh of relief. So this little black man was just putting on an act. They thought he was really using cheat codes. Cough, coughed. In midair, Kong Jiashu spat out a mouthful of blood, frantically asking, System? Why can't I use the power within my body? Nanfeng mechanically replied, because you're using the Emperor's experience card. Kong Jiashu, so? Nanfeng, the Emperor doesn't know the great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger. Kong Jiashu almost collapsed. He was just casually shouting out a move to create some momentum. There was no need to take it so seriously. This system is incredibly stupid. He exhaled, quickly calming himself down. He didn't have time to argue with the system. He needed to heal his injuries as soon as possible to prepare for the upcoming battle. The energy within Kong Jiashu's body rapidly circulated, healing his various injuries. Soon, he returned to his peak condition. This was, of course, intentional on Nanfeng's part, because he didn't want Kong Jiashu to die too easily. Ha ha ha, Wu Yuansheng, your arrow was quite powerful, I like it very much. Kong Jiashu, now fully recovered, laughed again, looking very stylish. Wu Yuansheng frowned and whispered, nothing wrong at all? Damn, this guy's strength is a bit beyond my expectations. Xiao Ran, I feel like he's just putting on an act. Cheng Yamo, why don't we all go together? With so many of us, how can we not handle a little black guy? Spears flashed like dragons, flying swords crisscrossed. Cheng Yamo and Xiao Ran didn't hesitate at all, attacking immediately. Let's go too. Shen Pan stepped into the void, using his ethereal movements to rush straight towards the Kong Jia tree in midair. Thunderous rampage arrow. Super shield shield shield. One person initiated the attack, and the whole team followed. In that instant, hundreds of chosen ones from the southern city charged towards Kong Jiashu. Ha ha ha, well done. Kong Jiashu laughed loudly, then said in a deep voice, I remember the Emperor has a signature move called Emperor's Hard Gravity Array. From Kong Jiashu as the center, an invisible and intangible ripple spread in all directions. Where the ripple passed, time stopped, and people froze. Hundreds of chosen ones from South City were frozen in place, unable to move. Seeing how effective this move was, Kong Jiashu laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, the Emperor's strength is truly terrifying. I only used a trial card, and I crushed all the elites of South City. This system may be a bit stupid, but it's still quite powerful. With this mischievous system helping me, what do I have to fear in heaven and earth? Kong Jiashu was completely immersed in his fantasy of unifying the world. He didn't know that Nanfeng had frozen everyone in place, because he was afraid his brothers in South City would beat him to death. Eagle soars through the sky. Silence! A sharp cry erupted in the air. An eagle swooped down, its paws forming talons, grabbing Kong Jiashu's head. Its 5 fingers plunged into his skull, nearly ripping off his skull. Aya! Kong Jiashu screamed, throwing a punch that sent the eagle flying. But another killing intent came from behind. The mad wolf's paws crossed into canine fangs, transforming into a vicious wolf's jaws, biting down on Kong Jiashu's back. Tear! A large chunk of flesh was ripped from Kong Jiashu's back, bloody and glistening, the bone barely visible. You're asking for death. You're all asking for death. In excruciating pain, Kong Jiashu wildly swung his fists. His fists were impenetrable, forcing back the black dog that was about to bite him again. Flying Eagle, Mad Wolf, and Black Dog retreated several hundred meters, coldly watching the crazed Kong Jiashu. At the same time, Nanfeng lifted the time stop, and the chosen ones of Nancheng regained their mobility. Flying Eagle? What brings you here? Suzerain flew over, cupping his hands in thanks. Thank you 3 brothers for your help, otherwise, Nancheng would have been in serious trouble. Heh, it was just a small favor. Flying Eagle waved his hand casually. Weren't we investigating the whereabouts of the Underworld Lord? We ended up here, and this little black man is very likely the legendary Underworld Lord. What? He's the one who's been secretly hunting Long Yuan? The people of Nancheng were also shocked, never expecting that both sides would stumble upon the same person. Mad Wolf, a cigarette dangling from his mouth, said in a low voice, "What's up with this little black guy? How can he single-handedly fight against so many strong people from your South City?" Flying Eagle chimed in, "Yeah, he seems pretty average. I just easily caught him with a sneak attack." Su Ming, hearing this, leaned in seriously, "Don't underestimate him. I suspect this guy has a cheat code." Flying Eagle, Mad Wolf, and Black Dog exchanged bewildered glances. A cheat code? Yes, Su Ming nodded. He kept muttering about systems, pranks, and the shop. What else could that be but a cheat code? He's definitely linked to some system. Why are you looking at me like I'm an idiot? Haven't any of you read tomato novels? 99 out of 100 books and there are plots like this. Chapter 920. Nanfeng was a little numb. He had already discovered Flying Eagle, Mad Wolf, and the others, knowing they were planning to ambush Kong Jiashu. But Nanfeng hadn't expected Flying Eagle and his group to be so ruthless. Or rather, he hadn't expected Kong Jiashu to be so vulnerable. If Nanfeng hadn't intervened in time, secretly forcing Black Dog back, Kong Jiashu would already be a corpse. System. Kong Jiashu wailed, clutching his head. His skull had almost been ripped off by Flying Eagle, and blood was gushing out, making him look pitiful. I'm here. What are you standing there for? Quickly heal me. Kong Jiashu's tone was laced with anger. He was furious because he discovered he couldn't fully control the energy within his body. Whether he wanted to attack or defend, he needed the system's permission first. This Emperor trial card feels pretty mediocre to use. Okay, healing the host. Nanfeng replied in a very mechanical voice. He controlled his magic, rampaging through Kong Jiashu's body, simultaneously repairing his injuries, and secretly damaging his tendons and flesh. Kong Jiashu howled in pain. Ah! Why does it hurt so much? System, what are you doing? Nanfeng ignored him, letting him yell. A few seconds later, Kong Jiashu's injuries were completely healed. But inside his body, Nanfeng had left him with nearly 100 hidden injuries. Kong Jiashu would experience sharp, needle-like pain all over his body with even the slightest movement. It hurts so much. Why does it hurt so much? Kong Jiashu's face was contorted in agony, his eyes bloodshot. System, what's going on? Nanfeng chuckled. Host, you were too badly injured just now. I could only barely save your life. Damn it! Kong Jiashu roared to the sky, glaring murderously at Fei Ying and the others. Die! Die! A whip covered in barbs appeared in Kong Jiashu's hand. The whip gleamed coldly. One couldn't imagine how painful it would be to be struck by it. An S-rank natal divine weapon? Mad Wolf exhaled a smoke ring, his eyes grave. Brothers below level 45, retreat. This battle is not for you. Kong Jiashu grinned as he swooped down. Retreat? None of you are leaving today, I said it. What you say goes. Su Ming raised his great shield, shooting it into the sky like a cannonball, colliding with Kong Jiashu. Boom! After a deafening roar, Su Ming flew back like a cannonball, crashing into the ground and creating a huge crater. Old Su. Are you okay? Wu Yuansheng raised his hand and fired dozens of arrows in quick succession, temporarily forcing Kong Jiashu back and buying Su Ming some time to recover. Cough cough. Su Ming spat out the sand in his mouth, looking completely bewildered. I'm fine, this guy's hits don't hurt at all. Shen Pan reacted quickly, pulling Su Ming out of the pit. We're all brothers, no need to be stubborn, just yell if it hurts. It really doesn't hurt. Su Ming exclaimed, hoisting his giant shield and charging forward again. I tank the damage, You guys deal the damage. Seeing Su Ming's bravery, the others naturally couldn't stand idly by, launching a coordinated attack on Kong Jiaxu. Including the people from Dragon City, there were more than 20 level 45 chosen ones here. Their simultaneous attacks would force even a level 45 emperor to temporarily retreat, unable to withstand the onslaught. But Kong Jiaxu showed no fear whatsoever. He stood rooted to the spot, not even flinching, and simply roared, "System, help me." "Help you, my ass?" Nanfeng cursed inwardly. If he didn't intervene, Kong Jiaxu would be guaranteed to die, which would be too easy for him. With no other option, Nanfeng could only create a protective shield, protecting Kong Jiaxu in the center. Boom! The terrifying energy leveled the surrounding area. Kong Jiaxu stood in the very center of the explosion, looking utterly unfathomable. "Is this all you got?" Kong Jiaxu mocked. The chosen ones of Nancheng and Longcheng looked grave. He withstood such a terrifying attack, and was completely unharmed. Could this little black figure be a level 46 powerhouse? Su Zhe then took a half step back, and subtly gave Shenpan a wink. Shenpan understood, and turned to run. "There's no signal here. He needs to run to a place with a signal to call for backup." "Where do you think you're going?" Kong Jiaxu roared, his whip extending thousands of meters, aiming to grab Shenpan back. Immovable as a mountain, Su Ming raised his large shield in front of him, instantly transforming it into a mountain to block the whip. "Attack together. Don't let him chase after Shenpan." The battle resumed. Under the fierce attacks of the crowd, Kong Jiaxu remained completely unfazed, instead calmly and effortlessly striking poses. "Are you all just tickling me? In my opinion, Nancheng and Longcheng are nothing but empty names. I can slaughter you all with a mere flick of my wrist." As he spoke, Kong Jiaxu, hands behind his back, subtly mimicked 1% of the Emperor's aura. Nanfeng, in stealth mode, gave a cold laugh. This effeminate guy is quite the actor. Ding! Level 45 Emperor trial card is about to expire. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. Hearing this emotionless voice, Kong Jiaxu, who had been calm and collected, instantly panicked. 3 minutes already? Without the Emperor trial card, how am I supposed to face these 20-odd level 45 powerhouses? And when will the shop open? I want to buy things. I want to shop. Emperor's hard gravity array. Taking advantage of the last few seconds of the trial card remaining, Kong Jiaxu roared, freezing everyone present. Then, he rapidly soared into the sky, disappearing without looking back towards the horizon. "System, open the shop!" Kong Jiaxu shouted frantically. Nanfeng calmly announced, "Shop loading. 9.6%, 9.7%. Kong Jiaxu couldn't help but curse. He turned around and saw that the chosen ones from Nancheng and Longcheng had been released from control, and were rapidly chasing after him. He would be caught in 30 seconds at most. "System, quickly think of a way to save me." Kong Jiaxu roared at the top of his lungs, "You're parasitizing my body. If I, the host, die, you won't survive either." Nanfeng shrugged, waited a few seconds, and then mechanically announced, "Ding. Host detected to be in danger. Survival probability less than 1%. Emergency prank mission activated." Emergency prank mission activated. To practice this skill, one must first castrate oneself. The host needs to cut off his penis in front of 100,000 spectators, and complete the prank. Prank successful. Level up 1. Prank failed. System will unbind from host. Chapter 921. To practice this skill, one must first castrate oneself? Kong Jiaxu's face was as black as coal. He would rather die than cut off his own penis. But this reward was incredibly tempting. A direct level boost. This wasn't a trial card, but a real upgrade. He was currently level 45. One more level, and he'd be level 46. You know, there were only a handful of level 46 people in the world. With just a gentle cut, he could cut off his penis, and his strength would skyrocket, making him one of the strongest in the world. As for the pursuers behind him, he could wipe them all out with a flick of his finger. My penis? Kong Jiaxu glanced down, gritting his teeth. So what if I cut it off? It's not like it won't grow back. It's just a penis, right? Cut it off. It's just a penis. But now, another problem was troubling Kong Jiaxu. The mission clearly stated that he needed to cut off his penis in front of 100,000 spectators to successfully complete the stunt. Where was he going to find so many viewers? Time was of the essence, and with the pursuers closing in, Kong Jiaxu hurriedly asked System, "What if we don't have enough viewers?" Nanfeng replied, "Host, you can stream your antics." Stream? Kong Jiaxu's eyes lit up. Awesome. That's a great idea. Why didn't I think of that? It seemed the system's intelligence surpassed his own. Without much thought, Kong Jiaxu quickly pulled a mother mirror from his backpack. He was now solely focused on creating an amusement, completely unaware that he could open his backpack again. Start the stream. Kong Jiaxu quickly started the stream, but the live stream had barely begun when only a handful of viewers appeared, a far cry from 10,000. What to do? Kong Jiaxu's brain raced, and he quickly came up with a plan. Family, I perform a talent for you. An elephant. An elephant. To complete the task, Kong Jiaxu no longer cared about his image. He undressed as he flew through the air, performing Crayon Shinchan's famous elephant dance. This explosive performance instantly attracted the attention of many viewers, and the number of viewers in the live stream quickly surpassed 100. Behind them, the powerful figures from Nancheng and Longcheng were flying at full speed, chasing after Kong Jiaxu. Wu Yuansheng, with the best eyesight, narrowed his eyes slightly and saw Kong Jiaxu undressing. He quickly said, "Brothers, this little black man is causing trouble again. Stop him." As he spoke, he fired a series of arrows. Beside Kong Jiaxu, Nefeng slightly raised his hand, adjusting the flight angle of the arrows, causing them to graze Kong Jiaxu's body. Such a wonderful performance couldn't be interrupted by Wu Yuansheng. Missed the arrow? Zheng Mo clicked his tongue. Dude, not doing so well lately? Watch me. Whoosh. The flying sword beneath Zheng Mo's feet instantly multiplied into 9999, stabbing towards Kong Jiaxu. Don't mess around. Nanfeng waved his hand, and the flying sword scattered in all directions. Zheng Mo's expression hardened. My flying swords are out of control. Wu Yuansheng said in a deep voice. It seems something is protecting him. Where are Nanshan and Brother Luo? I'm afraid we need them to personally capture this guy. Suzerain glanced at the panel. I contacted Xiao Luo, he said he's coming soon. Nanfeng is doing something else and hasn't replied. After a pause, Suzerain added, that guy is acting strangely. Let's all fly slower. Just chase, don't kill. We deal with him when Xiao Luo arrives. Everyone nodded in agreement, and slowed their flight. Just as Suzerain had said, Kong Jiaxu was indeed very strange. In all their years of time traveling, this was the first time they had encountered such a bizarre person and event. Could it really be as Su Ming suspected, that the naked little black man in front of them was bound to some kind of prank system? This was too amazing. Let me see what he's up to. Wu Yuansheng took out a sub-mirror, and quickly found Kong Jiaxu's live stream. In the video, Kong Jiaxu was performing a very greasy dance, drops of pure distilled water. This eye-watering scene made everyone frown. I dare not open my eyes, I hope it's just my imagination, Su Ming said with a look of disgust. Now you believe me, right? This guy is definitely bound to a prank system, and he's doing a mission here right now. As Sherlock Holmes said, when you have eliminated the impossible, what remains is only the truth. Although being bound to a prank system is abstract, this is currently the most reasonable explanation. 10 minutes later. With Kong Jiaxu's various attention-grabbing antics, the number of viewers in his live stream quickly surpassed 100,000. Finally, enough viewers. Kong Jiaxu breathed a sigh of relief. Having done so many shameful things in front of so many viewers, Kong Jiaxu felt as if his dignity had been thrown into a cesspool, filthy and stinking. He could only keep comforting himself. What does dignity matter? Living is the most important thing. After I become a god, I will kill everyone. That way, no one will know about my dark history. No, this isn't a dark history, this is the path I came from. All of this is merely a few trials and tribulations. Kong Jiaxu glanced back, seeing the powerful figures from Nancheng and Longcheng still leisurely following him, and couldn't help but sneer. A bunch of fools, you already missed the best opportunity to kill me. With that, Kong Jiaxu faced the mother mirror and roared, Family members, next I'm going to perform a special skill for you, the Sunflower Manual's Righteous Chicken Cut. Before the viewers in the live stream could react to what he meant, Kong Jiaxu had already transformed his hand into a knife, heavily slicing his penis. Hiss! With one slice, Kong Jiaxu gasped. He lowered his head, looking at his freely falling penis, grief welling up within him. My most beloved little penis, I will definitely avenge you. Kong Jiaxu thought sadly. Ha ha ha. Natfeng, who was hidden to the side, couldn't help but laugh out loud at this scene. Kong Jiaxu was shocked and cried out in terror, Who? Who's laughing? The laughter was so close, as if right next to his ear. How could Kong Jiaxu not be afraid? Nanfeng quickly suppressed his smile and calmly announced, Ding! Congratulations, host, for completing the prank mission. Your level has increased by 1 level. Boom! An incredibly powerful force surged into Kong Jiashu's body. Kong Jiashu's veins and blood vessels were instantly ruptured, blood gushing from his pores, swirling around him like a blood mist. It hurts. Kong Jiashu roared to the sky, but it's so strong. This power is so strong. Is this level 46? He threw a punch in midair, the powerful force of which immediately tore through space. Ha ha ha. So satisfying. So this is the power of a level 46 expert. Tears of blood streamed from Kong Jiashu's eyes, his face contorted in a ferocious grimace. He turned to face his pursuers and sneered, "Now, it's my turn to chase you." Thousands of meters apart, Su Ming and Kong Jiashu exchanged a glance, and Su Ming couldn't help but shudder. Such immense power, such terrifying eyes. Su Ming swallowed hard and whispered, "Brothers, run. This guy's changed to Berserker." Chapter 922. Is there any way to instantly level up someone from level 45 to level 46? Nanfeng's answer was, there is no way. Even if there were, he couldn't do it. Kong Jiashu didn't actually become a level 46 powerhouse. He only briefly gained a sliver of Nanfeng's power. And Nafeng could take back this power at any time. This is power. This is power. Kong Jiashu took a deep breath, a look of utter fascination on his face. He felt that with every move he made, mountains, rivers, lakes, and seas trembled, displaying the aura of a great emperor. Host, do you know why you become powerful after castration? A mechanical, synthesized voice sounded in Kong Jiashu's ear. Why else? Kong Jiashu asked. Didn't you make me stronger? Of course not, Nafeng said, trying to deceive him. Have you ever heard the phrase, gods have no fixed form? Gods don't have a fixed appearance, nor a fixed gender. The same god will appear differently to different people. Castration is actually taking a firm step on the path to godhood. After hearing Nanfeng's explanation, Kong Jiashu suddenly understood. So that's how it is. So gods don't have gender. In that case, there's no need for his little bird to grow back. System, I won't chat with you anymore. Kong Jiashu looked at Nancheng and the others who were retreating, and said with a sinister smile, I go kill these traitors first. Boom! Blood mist rose around Kong Jiashu, transforming him into a blood-red ghostly shadow, rushing straight towards Su Ming. You stinking shield, you're really tough, Kong Jiashu sneered. But times have changed. This isn't like before. You better take this punch. Ah. Duh. Kong Jiashu unleashed a powerful punch, slamming it towards Su Ming from a distance. Why am I always the one who gets hurt? Su Ming gritted his teeth, turning around and raising his giant shield to defend. Boom! A muffled roar echoed through the sky. Su Ming flew towards the horizon like a shooting star, quickly disappearing from everyone's sight. Old Su! Wu Yuansheng roared furiously, glaring fiercely at Kong Jiashu and firing several arrows in quick succession. Ha ha ha, you think I'm afraid of this tickling attack? Kong Jiashu controlled the blood mist surrounding him, transforming it into a large, ferocious wolfhound, which pounced on the people of Nancheng and Longcheng. Awoo! The black dog roared, and a giant canine god appeared behind it. The two large dogs, one black and one red, wrestled together in midair. Go quickly, don't get entangled with him, Suzerain said in a deep voice. Wait for Xiao Luo to come and deal with him. Kong Jiashu, his eyes bloodshot, laughed loudly. Xiao Luo? Ha ha ha. I admit, Xiao Luo does have some strength, but without becoming a god, he's just an ant. He doesn't even know what the first step to becoming a god is, yet he wants to deal with me? I'm the one who should deal with him. Cheng Yimo raised a middle finger at Kong Jiashu. You keep talking about I. What kind of thing are you? From ancient times to the present, has any emperor been without a penis? It's laughable, take this. Cheng Yimo summoned his flying sword, unleashing a sword aura that aimed straight for Kong Jiashu's crotch. Feeling the chill between his legs, Kong Jiashu's face turned ashen, and he said coldly, Once I fully control the power within me, the first person I kill will be you. High above, a chaotic battle unfolded. The chosen ones from South City and Dragon City fought and retreated, avoiding prolonged engagements with Kong Jiashu. Kong Jiashu relentlessly pursued them, finding a cat-and-mouse thrill in his pursuit, which greatly satisfied his vanity. Far away. After taking a punch from Kong Jiashu, Su Ming was sent flying in circles. He only stopped when caught by a strong, powerful hand. What the hell? Where did I end up? Su Ming looked around, dazed. When he saw the person behind him, he exclaimed with delight, Brother Luo, you're here? Yes, Xiao Luo nodded slightly. I've been here for a while. You been here for a while? Su Ming asked, puzzled. How long ago? Xiao Luo pointed to Qifeng Mountain, now a ruin, and said, I arrived when this mountain was still intact. Su Ming was speechless. Then why didn't you kill that little black guy? Xiao Luo thought for a moment and pondered. I felt it wasn't the right time for me to make a move yet. We can't delay any longer, Brother Luo, Su Ming said urgently. That little black guy has a system. You know what a system is, right? It's the kind of cheat system that protagonists in novels have. If we delay any longer, he become invincible. Xiao Luo gazed at the distant battlefield and saw that Kong Jiashu had already gained the upper hand, fiercely suppressing the people of Nancheng and Longcheng. You're right, Xiao Luo said softly. Judging from the situation, it's about time I made my move. With that, Xiao Luo casually took a step forward, instantly arriving at the center of the battlefield. Wow, he can go that far in one step. It's a shame he's not a food delivery man, Su Ming thought with a touch of envy. Then, he glanced at his status bar, a look of surprise on his face. What happened? I took a punch from that little black man and didn't lose a single drop of blood? Recalling his previous encounters with the little black man, a bold idea surfaced in Su Ming's mind. Could it be that I mastered the indestructible Vajra divine art? At the center of the battlefield, Kong Jiashu was surrounded by a blood mist, exuding the aura of a blood-soaked war god. He gathered the power of Nanfeng into his natal divine weapon and lashed out with a heavy whip at Yi Piaoling. This whip was incredibly powerful. Wherever it passed, space itself was cleaved into a dark rift. If this whip had struck her squarely, Yi Piaoling's petite body would most likely have perished. Actually, Kong Jiashu was somewhat bewildered. His whip was clearly meant to strike Wu Yuansheng, so why did it suddenly veer uncontrollably to the side? You dare! Su Ziren's eyes widened in fury. He flashed to Yi Piaoling's side, pulling her tightly into his arms. Don't worry about me, go! Yi Piaoling tried to push Su Ziren away. No, I won't go! Su Ziren shouted. Hidden in the shadows, Nanfeng rolled his eyes at this melodramatic scene. Su Ziren, this is all I can do for you. Why did the whip strike Yi Piaoling? That was all Nanfeng's doing. Seeing the whip about to fall, the others tried to stop it, but it was too late. At this crucial moment, a sharp blade flashed through the air. Kong Jiashu's right arm was easily severed by this blade. Ah! A pitiful scream echoed in everyone's ears. Xiao Luo appeared before Su Ziren, his gaze fixed on a deserted spot. He murmured, my appearance now is the right thing to do, isn't it? Absolutely right, Xiao Luo, Su Ziren said gratefully, holding Yi Piaoling. You came at the perfect time. Indeed, very right, Nanfeng echoed silently in his heart. Xiao Luo's arrival was perfectly timed. He could finally use this opportunity to issue his third prank mission. Of course, this would also be the last prank mission. Once this mission was successfully completed, he would kill Kong Jiashu. Chapter 923. Ding! Host detected to be in danger. Survival probability less than 1%. Ultimate prank mission activated. Ultimate prank mission. I can become stronger by eating shit. Prank successful. Instant godhood. Prank failed. Instant annihilation. Kong Jiashu, whose arm had been severed by Xiao Luo, was in excruciating pain. Upon hearing the system notification, his pained expression turned to blankness. Eat shit? Kong Jiashu exclaimed in shock. System, are you kidding me? The system never jokes, Nanfeng said with a smile. Host, let me ask you, do you think becoming a god is difficult or not? Kong Jiashu answered without hesitation, of course it's difficult. Nanfeng continued to deceive him. Yes, it's difficult. The difficulty lies in the fact that people don't know which path leads to godhood. Kong Jiashu asked in disbelief. Isn't it the path of self-castration? Nanfeng said, self-castration is only the first step to becoming a god. Eating shit is the true path to godhood. Kong Jiashu thought this system must have gone mad. Eating shit can make you a god? Are you kidding me? Nanfeng didn't give Kong Jiashu time to think, continuing eloquently, have you ever eaten shit? Do you know what the benefits of eating shit are? If I told you that gods all eat shit, would you believe me? Kong Jiashu rubbed his ears, unable to believe what outrageous things he had just heard. Gods eat shit? What kind of god are you? A shit god? Nanfeng continued, the higher the rank and power of a powerful figure, the less likely they are to eat shit, which is why they can't become gods. You must understand, excrement is a product of the cycle of life, and the cycle it contains is the truth of the world. There's a saying, born in excrement, the cycle never ends, we are born they excrete. They here refers to the gods. Kong Jiashu's lips twitched, he found it absurd. But his brain, involuntarily, began to ponder Nanfeng's words. Nanfeng continued to brainwash him. What's the key to becoming a god? It's not exceptional talent, not extraordinary ability, but walking a seemingly impossible path alone. As the saying goes, one general success is built on the bones of 10,000, though 1,000 may oppose me, I will go. To the gods, humans and excrement exist equally, without distinction of high or low status. Host, when you can treat excrement with the same equanimity, that will be the day you become a god. Nanfeng rambled on for a long time, saying everything he could think of. He also knew that Kong Jiaxu wouldn't believe him so easily. So at this moment, Xiao Luo needed to step in and give him a taste of the fear of facing death. Xiao Luo, give him a strike. Nanfeng transmitted his voice. Xiao Luo, who had been posing for a while, immediately drew his Qiniao sword and slashed out upon hearing Nanfeng's voice. The immense power of level 47 was displayed without reservation before Kong Jiaxu. Kong Jiaxu stared blankly at the approaching blade light. Before this blade light, he felt so insignificant, like an ant hiding in a dark corner, facing the sun for the first time. Even if he cultivated for another 100, 1,000, 10,000 years, he couldn't possibly withstand this strike, could he? Before the blade light even landed, Kong Jiaxu's Dao heart had already shattered. He had no will to resist, only despair filling his heart. Perhaps, dying by this blade would be worthwhile. Why use a sledgehammer to crack a nut? Nanfeng scoffed. He only wanted Xiao Luo to make a couple of casual strikes to scare Kong Jiaxu. Who knew Xiao Luo would unleash such a powerful attack right from the start, shattering Kong Jiaxu's Dao heart, and completely extinguishing his will to live. Fine, this is for the best, Nanfeng thought to himself. Giving him a glimmer of hope in despair will only make him more desperate. Nanfeng's demonic power surged, his right hand already gripping the god's dismemberer. Facing Xiao Luo's full force strike, Nanfeng had to be fully prepared to defend himself, or he might get injured. Clang! A glimmer of light flashed before Kong Jiaxu's eyes. In his eyes, the unstoppable blade of energy was actually blocked by something unseen and intangible. Kong Jiaxu was filled with doubt and surprise. Ding! Host's life is in danger. The system has consumed all its prank points to block this attack for the host. Hearing this, Kong Jiaxu felt like a drowning man grasping at a last straw, a glimmer of hope rising in his heart. The prank system could actually block Xiao Luo's attack? Is this system really that powerful? Then what about the path to godhood it mentioned earlier? Ding! Prank points are exhausted. Host, please perform some pranks as soon as possible to gain more. Kong Jiaxu's previously numb expression gradually regained some luster. He looked at his mother mirror and asked in a deep voice, System, can eating shit gain prank points? Nanfeng, suppressing a laugh, quickly replied, Of course. Kong Jiaxu nodded, I understand. He took a step forward, his eyes fixed intently on Xiao Luo. You're Xiao Luo? I just took a blow from your blade. Do you dare take a whip from me? Xiao Luo stood with his hands behind his back, seemingly deep in thought, but actually waiting for Nanfeng's telepathic message. 2 seconds later, Xiao Luo slightly raised his head and spoke arrogantly, Humph. What's there to be afraid of? Kong Jiaxu sneered, thinking to himself, sure enough, villains are all idiots, never knowing to kill the protagonist before he's fully grown. I currently have no trouble making points, I'm at my weakest. But this little villain, Xiao Luo, because of his arrogance, missed the best opportunity to kill me. Thinking this, Kong Jiaxu grinned and laughed loudly. As he laughed, he used the corner of his eye to search the forest below. Soon, he spotted a ferocious beast, a stinky pig. The aftershocks of the previous battle had terrified the stinky pig so much that it had lost control of its bladder and bowels, and it was now lying on the ground trembling. You're the one. Kong Jiaxu shouted, reaching out and sucking up the pig excrement with a flick of his wrist. Shit, come on! He grabbed the stinking excrement in his hand, rolled it into a ball with his bare hands, and yelled at the Mother Mirror family, I show you another amazing skill, let's go! Shock! Global shock, in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, Kong Jiaxu ate a whole pound of excrement. At this moment, what did dignity matter? What did face matter? As long as he could survive, what did eating excrement matter? Ha ha ha. Nanfeng finally couldn't hold back anymore, revealing himself and clutching his stomach, laughing uncontrollably. Kong Jiaxu, who was eating excrement, heard the somewhat familiar voice and stared blankly. You. Kong Jiaxu seemed to realize something, large beads of cold sweat appearing on his forehead. He pointed at Nanfeng, trembling, unable to speak. Nanfeng, tired of laughing, pinched his throat and said in a motionless, synthesized electronic voice, Hey, you sissy. By this time, Kong Jiashu knew exactly what had happened. He was struck dumb, nearly falling headfirst from the sky. Chapter 924. You. Kong Jiashu stammered, pointing at Nanfeng, but still clinging to a last shred of hope. You're the system? Yes. Nanfeng chuckled. You can also call me Nanfeng. Nanfeng. Kong Jiashu's hair was disheveled, his eyes flashing with fear. He should have known. This is a real world. How could such a bizarre thing as a prank system exist? Even if a system really existed, how could it be so lucky as to choose him as its host? There's no such thing as a free lunch. You're lying to me. You're lying to me. Kong Jiashu suddenly screamed like a madman. He truly broke down. He could accept death, but he couldn't accept dying from humiliation. To perform a striptease in front of hundreds of thousands of viewers, to do an elephant dance, to righteously cut down pigeons, and finally to eat excrement live on air. To suffer such humiliation before death, Kong Jiashu would die with his eyes wide open in disbelief. Why are you doing this to me? Kong Jiashu murmured. The stench of stinky pig excrement still lingered in his mouth, making him nauseous. You could have killed me with one blow. Why torture me like this? Kong Jiashu screamed in despair. Nanfeng looked at him coldly. So what if you ate a mouthful of excrement? You can't even handle that? When you tortured Song He, I saw you laughing quite happily. Kong Jiashu roared. I don't know what you're talking about. Song He, who is Song He? I don't even know her. If you want to kill me, just say so. Why make up these baseless excuses? Kong Jiashu's words were firm and resolute, seemingly not a lie. Even Suzerain, seeing the unwavering determination in Kong Jiashu's eyes, couldn't help but wonder, could we have made a mistake? Maybe we should spare his life for now, and investigate further. Nanfeng's lips curled into a cold laugh. Kong Jiashu was truly shameless when he lied. Someone unaware of the truth could easily be fooled. However, Nanfeng had witnessed Song He's death firsthand. Seeing was believing, and he couldn't be mistaken. I thought you had the courage to die a heroic death, but now it seems you're nothing more than a cowardly fool trying to survive, Nanfeng said, shaking his head. Don't worry, I won't kill you so quickly. That would be too easy on you. Ha ha, Nanfeng, you're too arrogant. The look of despair on Kong Jiashu's face suddenly vanished, replaced by a smug smile. I'm leaving. Goodbye. No, never again. A flash of silver light appeared beneath Kong Jiashu's feet, and the next second, he had disappeared from everyone's sight. After realizing the prank system was fake, Kong Jiashu suddenly understood. His creator god's system was definitely still there. So, taking advantage of Nanfeng's silence, he quickly opened his backpack and used the teleportation array to escape. Xiao Luo turned slightly to look at Nanfeng. Why didn't you stop him? Nanfeng shrugged. Give him some hope first, that way he'd be even more desperate. While everyone was still pondering the meaning behind Nanfeng's words, he turned and pointed to Qifeng Mountain, then said, Song He's body is in that mountain. Take her back, and give her a proper burial. I'm going to catch some rats. With that, Nanfeng's figure flashed and disappeared. Qifeng Mountain ruins. Half an hour ago, a large mountain stood here intact. Who knew that in just half an hour, only a pile of rubble remained? Part of Kong Jiashu's cave was underground, and hadn't been significantly affected. In one of the chambers, numerous corpses were laid out, the bodies of the chosen ones that Kong Jiashu had slaughtered. He had turned these chosen ones' corpses into human pigs, placing them in specially crafted transparent vases for display. To Kong Jiashu, these dead chosen ones were his spoils of war, symbols of his power. Boom! Su Ming blasted away the pile of rubble blocking the cave entrance, and slowly walked in. Damn! Seeing the scene inside the chamber, Su Ming's face contorted in shock. Is that little black man a pervert? Behind Su Ming, the people from Nancheng also stepped into the chamber. Looking at the scene before them, they all gasped in unison. Yi Piaoling gagged twice, almost vomiting. They're all compatriots from Blue Star, Flying Eagle side, walking over to one of the transparent vases to observe the person inside. Look, there are words here, Mad Wolf said, approaching the vase and reading aloud the small characters engraved on it. Xuanqing Yunguang. Is this Xuanqing's chosen one? Flying Eagle nodded. It should be. I call Xuanqing over to confirm. Suzerain scanned the cave, then turned to his brothers from South City and said, Everyone, don't just stand around. Let's search together, and bring Song He home. The South City members nodded, and dispersed to search. The corpses of these chosen ones had all had their eyes gouged out, ears and noses cut off, mouths sewn back on, and hair shaved off by Kong Jiashu. From the outside, all the corpses looked almost identical. They could only identify them by looking at the names in front of the vases one by one. Mad Wolf, Black Dog, let's go take a look too. I wonder if any of our Dragon City brothers are here. Flying Eagle sighed and said softly. The cave was large, with over 100 vases neatly arranged inside. All the chosen ones Kong Jiashu had killed over the past decade were here, including those from Sakura Country, Pretty Country, White Bear Country, and Dragon Country. Shinpan moved quickly, jogging around the cave before stopping in front of a vase. Nanchung Songhe. Looking at these 4 words in front of the vase, Shinpan's heart skipped a beat, and he sighed heavily. He remembered that last year during the Spring Festival, Wang Mumu had invited Songhe to her home for dinner. They had been laughing and chatting, dreaming about the future. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, they were separated by death. I'm sorry, we're a little late. Shinpan sighed, picking up the large vase containing Songhe's lotus flower, and whispered, Don't be afraid, Mumu and I have come to take you home. In a small village on the border of the Wadika Empire, Kong Jiashu lay on his back, panting heavily. I survived? Kong Jiashu murmured. This feeling of surviving a disaster is truly wonderful. Beside Kong Jiashu stood a pretty woman. She looked at Kong Jiashu with concern. Are you alright? Those people won't come after us, will they? Wife, don't be afraid. Kong Jiashu slowly sat up, chuckling softly. This place is 108,000 miles away from the Haoyue Empire. How could they find us so easily? Kong Jiashu knew what he was doing was dangerous. So long ago, he had prepared a backup plan. That was to place his woman in this extremely remote mountain village. When danger struck, he could teleport here to avoid trouble. This was the first time in over a decade that Kong Jiashu had activated this emergency evacuation plan. Thank goodness for you, wife. Kong Jiashu smiled, standing up to kiss her. Without you, I don't know where I would have teleported to. The woman took 2 steps back in disgust, covering her nose. You just ate shit, your breath stinks. Kong Jiashu's smile froze. His peripheral vision caught sight of the sub-mirror on the table, and he almost collapsed again. The woman had watched his live-streamed show. Kong Jiashu only played around with other women, but this woman before him, he truly loved her since childhood. Seeing his most humiliating moment witnessed by the girl he loved most. Kong Jiashu's face flushed crimson, cursing Nathong 1,000 times in his heart. Wife, it's not what you think. Kong Jiashu was about to explain when he saw a faint bloodstain on the woman's neck. Then, he watched helplessly as the woman's head slid off her neck and hit the ground. Kong Jiashu's eyes widened, his whole body trembling. What happened? What happened? Before Kong Jiashu could recover, he heard Nanfeng's voice. Hi, we meet again. Chapter 925. Sizzle. Blood spurted from his snow-white neck, like a fountain in a park. Kong Jiashu's eyes were glazed over, clearly unable to accept this reality. The woman he had loved for over 20 years, how could she just be gone like that? She was just talking to him a moment ago. Can't even handle this? A mocking voice rang in Kong Jiashu's ears, like the whisper of a demon. He, don't rush, this is just the beginning. Keep running, no matter where you teleport, I will find you. Everyone around you, I will kill them all, one by one, right before your eyes. The demonic voice faded into the distance until it disappeared completely. A moment later, Kong Jiashu twisted his stiff neck and slowly turned his head. Nathong was gone. That devilish man, he didn't kill him. Kong Jiashu's face twitched, revealing a smile more painful than tears. Ha ha ha, he wants to slowly torment me to death? Thud. The headless female corpse before him could no longer stand, collapsing limply to the ground. Kong Jiashu took a deep breath, taking one last look at the woman he had loved for so many years. Wife, I probably won't live much longer either. Wait for me down there. Wait until I drag a few more down with me, then we go together. Nathong Nanchung. A fierce glint flashed in Kong Jiashu's lifeless eyes. Then, he resolutely stepped onto the teleportation array and left. Above the Wadika Empire, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Hakimi, 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 Nathong hummed a classic tune, flying towards the border of the Wadika Empire. When lending his power to Kong Jiashu, Nathong casually left a large amount of magic power within him, constantly damaging his body. As long as this magic power remained, even if Kong Jiashu teleported to the ends of the earth, Nathong could find him in no time. Whoosh! A dozen seconds later, Nathong descended from the sky, landing in a village on the border of Wadika. His gaze fell upon the 2-story wooden house before him, and he smiled wickedly. Hi, Kong Jiashu, we meet again. The house was quiet, The chaotic scene Nan Feng had imagined did not materialize. Kong Jiashu seemed not to have heard him. Nan Feng frowned, a sense of foreboding creeping in. He kicked open the door and entered the house. The house contained only a headless, bleeding female corpse. Kong Jiashu was nowhere to be seen. Magic power. Nan Feng released his senses and discovered that the magic power he had left within Kong Jiashu had inexplicably left his body and was drifting around the room. Suanna's acting like she's crazy, Nan Feng cursed under his breath. Kong Jiashu, that weakling, had absolutely no chance of forcing out the magic Nan Feng had left within him. In fact, very few people in the entire primitive world could do that. Who was secretly helping Kong Jiashu? Nan Feng could figure it out with his toes. However, to avoid wrongly accusing an innocent person, Nan Feng still used observe the past. When he saw Suanna kill the woman before him, and then imitate his own voice to mock Kong Jiashu, his face darkened. You bitch, you really got too much to ask. Nan Feng opened his interface, sent a message to Xiao Luo, and then teleported over. Nonlin City, Huang Family Bath Center. Xiao Luo sat atop the high wall, gazing at the horizon, lost in thought. A flash of silver light appeared, and Nan Feng emerged from the teleportation array. Seeing Nan Feng's sour face, Xiao Luo asked curiously, "What's wrong? Did you miss your chance and he got away?" "Yeah, Suanna rescued him," Nan Feng said dejectedly. "Kong Jiashu hates me to the core. He knows he can't kill me, so his target must be the various cities under Nanqing's control. Nancheng is now a powerful and influential family, managing countless cities. It could easily be considered the Southern Kingdom. With so many cities, if Kong Jiashu were to randomly choose one to attack, the consequences would be unimaginable. Even if Nan Feng could arrive at the scene immediately, tens of thousands of ordinary people would likely die at Kong Jiashu's hands. If Suanna helps by time, Kong Jiashu might even massacre the entire city. After all, he was a level 45 powerhouse with an S-rank natal divine weapon. "Why did Suanna save him?" Xiao Luo asked, puzzled. "Do they know each other?" Nan Feng shook his head slightly. "They probably don't. She just wants me to break through quickly. This woman can't wait even a second longer, forcing me to fight her to the death." Xiao Luo knew quite a bit about Suanna's past. He was silent for a while, then said, "Over 100,000 years have passed. Her desire for revenge must have reached its peak, right? Every minute and every second is torture for her. But I still have many things to do." Nan Feng counted on his fingers, one by one, as if reciting a familiar story. "The shadow of the night hasn't been found yet. If we don't catch it, Little Dragon Abyss will be in danger. South City and Dragon City haven't completely established themselves either. Look, even now, someone dares to kill my South City's chosen one. Once I'm gone, won't those rats hiding in the gutter turn the world upside down?" Look, Kong Jiashu has escaped now. He's a threat to Nancheng too. And another thing, I want to try and find Long Woody's soul. How could someone as powerful as Brother Long possibly have his soul completely destroyed? And another thing. Xiao Luo interrupted Nan Feng. "Nan Feng, are you afraid?" Nan Feng tilted his head back and laughed. "What a joke. What am I afraid of? Afraid you lose? Afraid you die?" Xiao Luo said, "What you just said sounded like you were giving your last words." Nan Feng's face darkened. "You're cursing me to die, aren't you? Let me tell you, I can't possibly lose." Nan Feng knew the future. How could he possibly lose? At least, he wouldn't lose to Suanna. "Xiao Luo, since you won't lose, what are you worried about? What you just said are minor matters. After your triumphant return, you have plenty of time to deal with them." Nan Feng was taken aback. "That's true. Since Suanna is so eager to die, why not just kill her first?" Xiao Luo added, "With me and Nancheng, you can rest assured. As for Kong Jiashu, he's just a roadside tree. I can kill him with one strike. You don't need to worry about Shadow of the Night either. That little guy Long Yuan is a precious treasure to me. No matter who dies, Long Yuan won't. Besides, I'm still keeping an eye on Huang Mao here. As long as Shadow of the Night dares to come, I can catch it. This time, it won't be able to escape. Last time, they weren't prepared, and Shadow of the Night slipped away into the shadows. This time, Xiao Luo wouldn't give it another chance to hide underground." "Huang Mao?" Nan Feng turned around and glanced at Huang Mao, who was getting a foot massage inside, looking completely relaxed. "Nan Feng, I reckon Shadow of the Night won't come looking for him." "Xiao Luo, why didn't you say so sooner? Do you know how many days I've been staking out this place?" "Nan Feng, my problem. How about this? We beat up that blonde guy together, and vent our anger." Xiao Luo, okay. Chapter 926. Sir, please come again next time. Come, I definitely will. Passing through a group of beautiful women in Chongsam's, Wang Mao walked out of the Huang family bath center with a satisfied expression. Looking up at the setting sun, Wang Mao couldn't help but sigh. Getting a foot massage every day feels so good. He looked at the lifetime 10% discount card in his hand and let out a silly chuckle. 10% off, and a lifetime card at that. What's the difference between that and free? Next time I try technician number 88, those smooth little hands, TSK. I'm a little hungry. I go get something to eat first, then figure out how to get some money. Lost in thought, Wang Mao had already walked out of the main road and into a narrow alley. Passing through this alley, you reach the largest inn in the city. Dragon Gate Inn. The inn has delicacies from another world, delicious and inexpensive, incredibly tasty. The thought of roast duck from Lengdu made Wang Mao's mouth water. Just then, Wang Mao saw two men dressed in black night clothes walking towards him. Usually, people who wear this kind of clothing are either assassins, thugs, or someone involved in a newly popular profession. Cosplay. But these two men looked menacing. They weren't cosplayers, but rather powerful assassins. Wang Mao didn't want to cause trouble, so he decisively lowered his head, crouched down by the roadside, and made way for them. Tap, tap, tap. Soon they met. One of the men in black whispered, "Did he see our faces?" The other man in black replied, "It seems so." "What do we do?" "Beat him up." Yellow Hair was startled. He was about to speak when a hail of fists rained down from all directions. Ah! 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 Yellow Hair covered his head with his hands, letting the fists pound his body. So strong, these two assassins are so strong. He tried to retaliate, but as soon as he mustered his strength, a fist the size of a sandbag struck, shattering his internal energy. It happened every single time. He couldn't muster any strength to fight back. "Have mercy, heroes. I didn't see your faces," Yellow Hair begged loudly. The two men in black whispered to each other, "What did he just say?" "He said we have no faces." "Damn it, so arrogant, keep beating him up." Yellow Hair was on the verge of tears. Were these two men in black crazy? What were they doing? They beat Yellow Hair for a full 5 minutes before the two men in black finally left the alley, satisfied. The bruised and battered Yellow Hair stood there dumbfounded. He finally realized that these two men in black were just using him as a punching bag, beating him up for no reason. Beasts? Two beasts. Thankfully, they hadn't gone too far. The blonde-haired guy only suffered minor injuries, and would recover in a couple of days. "Two bastards," the blonde-haired guy muttered, spitting at the alley entrance. Revenge was out of the question. The blonde-haired guy knew his place. Those two men in black were several levels stronger than him. To get revenge, he had to train, and train some more, and even then, he might not be able to catch up. Wouldn't it be better to get a foot massage instead of that training time? With injuries this bad, I need an oil back massage tonight, followed by a Thai massage, to treat myself, the blonde-haired guy muttered. Only when the masseuse's gentle hands caress my wounds can I heal faster. Anyway, with a lifetime 10% off discount card, it wouldn't cost much. As the saying goes, enjoy life to the fullest. Wait, where's my card? The blonde-haired man turned ashen-faced, turning all his pockets inside out. They were empty. The discount card gone. Those two men in black were after his discount card. The blonde-haired man roared to the sky, his voice piercingly loud. "You two little thieves, give me back my card." His voice was so loud that even Nanfeng and Xiaoluo, who were already outside the city, could hear it clearly. The two stared at each other for a few seconds, then simultaneously burst into laughter, clutching their stomachs. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! After laughing for a long time, Nanfeng finally caught his breath. "Being able to do whatever I want, it's really enjoyable. It's not exactly immoral. That kid really deserves a beating." Xiaoluo examined the discount card in his hand and said, "He keeps using this card to cash out. Huang Yuanming has complained to me about it many times." "Cash out? How?" "He helps other customers swipe their cards. For a 998 copper coin project, he charges the customer 500 copper coins, but only needs to swipe the card to pay 100 copper coins. He makes a profit of 400 copper coins. 00 copper coins," Xiaoluo explained. "Huang Yuanming has opened so many chain stores, but this one is losing money." Nanfeng slapped his thigh. "Hey, why didn't you say so earlier? If you had, I would have beaten him for 2 more minutes." Xiaoluo winked. "Then go back and beat him up again?" Nanfeng waved his hand. Forget it, this is enough." He looked up at the setting sun and smiled slightly. You're right, these are all small things, nothing to be ashamed of. I'm leaving. With that, Nanfeng turned around gracefully and walked against the light. With each step he took, his aura rose a little higher. With each step, he became more integrated with nature, until he was one with it. In truth, after defeating the Emperor, Nanfeng could have already broken through to level 48. But he had been suppressing himself, wanting to arrange everything before breaking through this final threshold. But the more he arranged, the more things seemed to pile up. He wanted to meddle in every little detail, to solve it personally. Was it a lack of confidence, a fear of losing, a fear of not returning, that made him want to arrange everything so meticulously? Nanfeng himself didn't know. But a sense of unease filled his heart. He possessed the secrets of time. He could clearly sense that once he broke through level 48, his time would be running out. Would he lose to Swanna? Or to the Creator God? Or perhaps win all battles and become a god? Nanfeng didn't know, but no matter the outcome, it seemed he wouldn't be able to return. If they can't come back, they can't come back. What I'm worried about are just trivial matters. Let them handle them themselves. I, Nan, am a man destined for great things. Swanna, come out and face your death. A silver-white mecha instantly covered Nanfeng's entire body. 6 arms sprouted from his back, each holding a Desert Eagle, Gatling gun, flamethrower, shotgun, rocket launcher, and God's dismemberer. Nanfeng's own hands gripped a Star Destroyer cannon. Most of the magic power of the primordial world surged into Nanfeng's body in that instant, compressed, and compressed again. Finally, an irregular crystal of God condensed, and took shape on Nanfeng's chest, radiating a divine light. Chapter 927. Ancient Forest, South City. After bringing Song He's body back to South City, Wu Yuansheng silently left the main group and headed towards his hut. Su Ming witnessed this and asked, Old Wu, where are you going? Wu Yuansheng gave a resolute look, going to do something important. Su Ming watched Wu Yuansheng enter the hut, muttering in confusion, what important thing can you do at home? Sleep? No, only the southern god would consider sleeping important. Shaking his head, Su Ming's gaze swept over his brothers, pondering something. A moment later, Su Ming strode towards Cheng Emo and said in a deep voice, Brother, stab me. Su Ming's voice was loud, and everyone around heard him clearly. Everyone turned to stare at Su Ming. Cheng Mo's face paled with terror, and he took several steps back. What do you want to do? I want to. Su Ming patted his large pectoral muscles a few times, laughing. I want to see how many swords you can withstand. Oh, you mean stab me with a sword? Cheng Emo breathed a sigh of relief. That was truly terrifying. A muscular, burly man walks up to you and immediately says stab me. Who wouldn't tremble at that? Su Zuran asked, What's wrong, Su Ming? Did you learn some new skill? Su Ming grinned mischievously. Ha ha ha, you might not believe it, but I think I also been bound to a system. Everyone exchanged bewildered glances, looking at Su Ming as if he were an idiot. I knew you wouldn't believe me, Su Ming sneered. That dark-skinned PE student earlier, wasn't he pretty strong? The group exchanged glances and nodded slightly. Although Kong Jiashu had some mental issues, his righteous actions like cutting off pigeons and eating excrement, his strength was undeniable. He ranked in the upper middle tier among level 45 players. But what did this have to do with Su Ming's system binding? In that battle just now, I withstood several punches from that little black man without losing a single drop of blood. Su Ming proudly raised his head. Do you think it's possible that I, like that little black man, have a system binding and an invincibility cheat? In the previous battle, Su Ming had been sent flying hundreds of kilometers by a single punch from Kong Jiashu. By the time he slowly tried to fly back, the battle was over, and he returned with the others to Qifeng Mountain to search for Song He's body. He only knew that Nanfeng and Xiao Luo had dealt with Kong Jiashu, but he didn't know that Kong Jiashu's so-called system was actually Nanfeng. Su Ming still believed that his ability to withstand several punches from Kong Jiashu without losing blood was due to his own skill. The people present pursed their lips, barely suppressing their laughter. What are you laughing at? Su Ming scanned the crowd. Let me tell you, I feel incredibly tanky right now. Even Brother Luo can't break my defenses. Still laughing? Fine, you don't believe me, huh? Come on, Brother Cheng Emo, stab me. Stab me as hard as you can. See if I lose any health and that's it. Cheng Emo waved his hand with a smile. Forget it, I'm not really good at breaking your defenses anyway. Regardless of whether he had the system or not, Su Ming was the tankiest person in the entire South City, harder than a city wall. He could withstand 100 or so sword strikes from Cheng Emo without a problem. That's true. Is there anyone with high attack power? Come and hit me a couple of times. Su Ming looked around, then suddenly his eyes lit up. Little Nan. Come quick, give me a punch. Outside the Mishua Nanchung milk tea shop, Xiao Nan was lounging on a lounge chair, sipping her pearl milk tea and basking in the sun. Hearing Su Ming's voice, Xiao Nan lowered her sunglasses slightly and asked teasingly, Are you serious? Su Ming patted his chest confidently, very serious. Come on, hit me here. Xiao Nan spat out a pearl, which struck Su Ming's chest with lightning speed. Thump! Swish! Su Ming was sent flying backward like a kite with a broken string, instantly disappearing from Nanchung and landing halfway up a distant mountain. Ha ha ha! The crowd couldn't hold back any longer and burst into laughter, rolling on the ground. Xiao Nan put her sunglasses back on and took a big gulp of milk tea. It's only been a short time. How come you can't tell the difference between the two kings? As she spoke, Xiao Nan suddenly turned her head and looked at Wu Yuanqing's hut. Huh? He's breaking through? Breakthrough? Su Zuren's smile faded, and he quickly walked over. Xiao Nan, you mean Wu Yuansheng is about to break through to level 46? Xiao Nan nodded slightly. Yes, he's very driven. He should be able to break through successfully tonight. That's great. Su Zuren clenched his fist, his face full of relief. Finally, Nanchung is finally going to have its third level 46 powerhouse. Wu Yuansheng is about to break through. Damn it, working hard secretly without a word? Those who compete fiercely deserve to die. How about we throw a couple of tables to celebrate for old Wu? The people of Nanchung discussed excitedly, gathering around Wu Yuanqing's door, waiting for his successful breakthrough. Time flew by, and dusk fell, the afterglow of the setting sun spilling over Nanchung. Everyone could clearly feel that Wu Yuanqing's hut was like a super vortex, fiercely absorbing the magic power within 100 miles. Su Ming limped back from outside the city, complaining, Hey guys, nobody cares about me? What are you all doing gathered around old witch's door? Just then, Wu Yuanqing's loud laughter echoed from the hut. Ha ha, level 46 today. Su Ming's expression changed. What? Old witch is breaking through. Damn it, I'm already heartbroken enough that I'm not bound to the system, and now my good brother has to break through at this time? You're not human, old witch, you're not human. Huh? A surprised voice came from the side. Xiao Nan took off her sunglasses, her beautiful eyes staring straight at the horizon, murmuring, This day, it has finally come. The others didn't understand the meaning behind Xiao Nan's words. Xiao Nan. Su Zuren was about to ask when his expression suddenly changed drastically. A suffocating feeling enveloped everyone present. No, not just those present, but everyone in the entire primordial world. What's going on? Why is the magic in the air disappearing? Brothers, I feel having trouble breathing. This magic concentration is even lower than when we first transmigrated. Inside the hut, Wu Yuanqing's face was contorted with rage as he cursed. Where's the magic? Where's my magic? He was just a hair's breadth away from taking that crucial step. To have his magic cut off now would be equivalent to. Xiao Nan glanced at Wu Yuanqing's hut and shook her head regretfully. Unfortunately, a little too late. After today, no new level 46 will be born. This situation will continue until the next chosen one arrives. Chapter 928. Xiao Nan's words echoed in everyone's ears like a thunderclap. No one was stupid, they understood the meaning behind Xiao Nan's words. Has Nanshin finally taken that step? It seems he's ready. You must win, Nanshin. Creak. A dejected Wu Yuansheng pushed open the door at this moment. He looked at everyone and sighed deeply. I suspect Nanshin is targeting me. Everyone laughed and rushed forward to comfort Wu Yuansheng. Wu Yuansheng was still somewhat unwilling. He looked at Xiao Nan and asked earnestly, Is there really no way for me to break through to level 46? Xiao Nan shrugged. There is a way. If you can live until the next chosen ones descend. Wu Yuansheng looked helpless. Then it seems there's no way. Sigh, fate. Seeing Wu Yuanqing's low spirits, Xiao Nan comforted him. Your current strength is already quite good. Be content. Do you know, the previous two chosen ones were a bloodbath. There were hardly any level 45 or higher left in the world. They barely managed to produce 2 level 48 powerhouses. Your generation is already very good. There are so many level 45s, several level 40 SIXS, and even a level 47 Xiaolu. Speaking of which, isn't there a lot of magic power in this era? Xiao Nan lowered her head and thought. It seems, right, it was on the day Long Wudi died that the magic power concentration in this world surged dramatically. So much so that Suana didn't even need to go on a killing spree to easily achieve her breakthrough. What exactly happened the day Long Woody died? Wow, suddenly I'm so curious. Whoosh, whoosh. At opposite ends of the world, two beams of light shot into the sky, disappearing into space in the blink of an eye. Shen Pan exclaimed, "Look! It looks like Nanshan and Suena are about to fight." Suzerain suddenly raised his hand. "Brothers, let's cheer for Nanshan together. Nanshan! Go! Nanshan! Go!" The people of Nanchang clenched their fists, raised their hands high, and shouted encouragement towards the setting sun. Xiao Nan was speechless. "Who are you cheering for?" "Suena is on this side of the sunset, and my brother is on the other side." Everyone silently lowered their hands, their faces showing embarrassment. "Hey, they're flying so high, how can we see them clearly?" "It's okay, everyone shout with me, Suena!" Leaking oil. Suena, leaking oil. Nanshan, go! Beyond the 9 heavens. 2 aurora beams darted through the void, weaving and chasing each other, constantly moving away from the primordial world. Only when the vast primordial world became a tiny black dot did the 2 aurora beams slow down and stop. Nefeng, clad in silver armor, turned around and transmitted his voice through magic. "Where's Kong Jiashu?" Suena reached out and pulled a corpse from the void, tossing it to Nefeng. "I took care of it for you. I need your help." Nefeng glanced at Kong Jiashu's corpse, confirmed it was him, and then slammed it into a bloody mist with a single palm strike. This dark-skinned sports student, who had slaughtered countless of his brethren, thus perished in the vastness of space. "I'm not helping you. You're still playing house with him," Suena said calmly. "Is it fun to toy with an ant?" Nefeng nodded. "Not only interesting, but also very meaningful." "In this world, only one thing is meaningful," Suena said calmly, "and that is becoming a god. That's you. I'm different from you. I think there are many things that are meaningful. After you stay in this realm long enough, you will be like me. Everything in the world is false, only the gods are real." Nefeng seemed to have discovered something. He stared at Suena for a long time before saying, "Have you lost your humanity?" Suena calmly replied, "Gods are inherently without humanity, and should not have humanity." With a flick of her jade-like fingers, lotus flowers bloomed in the void. These lotus flowers bloomed one after another, quickly forming a sea of flowers. Nefeng and Suena stood in the very center of this sea of flowers. Suena slowly raised her hand, preparing to attack. "Damn." Nefeng gestured for a stop. "Before we begin, I have one more question." As he spoke, Nefeng silently concentrated all his magical power into his eyes, which seemed to churn with towering waves. "Suena, what question?" Nanfeng's tone was grave. "I want to know, what happened the day Longwoody died?" Suena moved swiftly closer to Nefeng, her steps graceful and powerful. "Take care of yourself first." The casual conversation ended there. Killing intent instantly filled the entire void. The lotus flower beneath Nanfeng's feet suddenly exploded, enveloping him in a thick pink mist. "Where did you learn this new trick?" Nefeng chuckled, exhaling a breath. A hurricane swept up in front of him, instantly dispersing the pink mist that filled the sky. As the mist cleared, Suena's figure appeared in Nanfeng's vision. She stood on a lotus flower, unleashing a powerful punch. From Suena's starting stance alone, Nefeng recognized it as Long Woody's signature move. Dragon Fist. Nefeng scoffed, "What a joke. The dream god doesn't play with dreams anymore, wanting to compete with me on who has the harder fist? As if everyone knows Dragon Fist?" Nefeng, with the same starting stance, unleashed a Dragon Fist, using the same Dragon Tiger walking steps. The two fists collided, a force comparable to the collision of 2 asteroids. A terrifying energy wave rippled outwards, tearing apart the surrounding space and creating wormholes. The two withdrew their attacks, staring at each other from a distance. "Interesting," Nefeng said, giving Suena a second look. Suena's punch just now captured at least 7 or 8 tenths of the essence of the Dragon Fist, and Nefeng barely managed to fight her to a draw. This surprised Nefeng. He hadn't expected Suena to possess such fighting power without using her dream power. This battle was far more difficult than Nefeng had anticipated. "Just a little interesting, Brother Feng?" Suena said calmly. Her figure flashed, stepping on a lotus flower, and she unleashed another perfectly executed tiger palm strike. Nefeng also countered with a tiger palm strike, chuckling lightly. "Otherwise what? Do you think I'd—" Their palms collided, and Nefeng grunted, flying hundreds of kilometers away. Just during the clash, Nanfeng's mind went blank for a moment. The reason for this blank was, "What did you call me just now?" Nefeng stared coldly at Suena. "Brother Feng," Suena smiled calmly, radiating boundless confidence. Do you really think I lose to Suana? You. Nanfeng's eyes widened. That familiar address, that intense confidence, was this woman, Long Wudi? Possession? Rebirth? Or something else? Nanfeng stammered in disbelief. You're Long Wudi. I'm not. Suana's voice rang in Nanfeng's ears, like a thunderclap. Nanfeng was shocked, and was about to turn around when Suana's large hand pierced through his tactical mech, grasping his heart. As Suana slowly withdrew her hand, a crystal clear, irregularly shaped stone radiating a divine light was revealed in her grasp. It seems my judgment was correct. Your divine crystal is hidden within your heart, Suana said coldly. A few simple words from me have thrown you into disarray. To be honest, you are unworthy to be my opponent. Nanfeng turned his head almost completely, staring blankly at Suana behind him, before quickly losing consciousness. The whole book. Wait, it's not over yet. Whoosh. Suddenly, a silver-white arm pierced through Suana's heart. Nanfeng's voice rang in Suana's ear. Before you give your victory speech, perhaps you should look behind you first. Chapter 929. Nanfeng's voice rang in Suana's ears. Before you give your victory speech, why don't you take a look behind you? Nanfeng in front of Suana began to melt, turning into silvery white liquid metal that flowed behind her. Then, a completely new Nanfeng materialized, his right hand piercing through Suana's body. Laughable, still pretending to be invincible dragon? Do you think I'm a pig who would believe you? Nanfeng's right hand exerted force, crushing Suana's heart. Suana, you lost. Suana's beautiful eyes narrowed slightly, and she quickly distanced herself from Nanfeng. Her magical power surged rapidly into her chest cavity, reforming a perfectly intact heart. Lost? You couldn't even find my divine crystal. How could I lose? Suana scoffed. Nanfeng flicked his hand, wiping away the blood. I said you lose because I already seen through you. Finding your divine crystal is just a matter of time. You're very confident, Suana scoffed, charging again on a lotus flower. Her figure flickered within the sea of flowers. Each lotus flower in this sea of flowers was a miniature teleportation array for Suana. One moment she was to Nanfeng's left, the next she was behind him. Even Suana herself didn't know where she would appear next. So elusive, impossible to defend against, but Nanfeng stood leisurely in the center of the flower field. I told you, I seen through you. On the right. Rat-a-tat-tat. Nanfeng, with the Gatling gun's mechanical arm on his back, began firing wildly to the right. Almost simultaneously, Suana appeared to Nanfeng's right, only to be immediately blasted away by a hail of bullets. Suana frowned and vanished again. Behind you. The flamethrower roared, unleashing a torrent of fire behind her. Suana was immediately bombarded by the heavenly demon flame as soon as she reappeared. She snorted coldly, and disappeared once more. This time, to the left front. The planet destroyer was ready, a dazzling beam of light piercing through the void. Suana had barely teleported and revealed herself when she was struck squarely by the cannon. Boom! The condensed beam of light contained boundless power, blasting a gaping hole in Suana's abdomen. She coughed up blood, flashing wildly backward, creating a distance of over 1,000 kilometers between herself and Nanfeng. How did you know where I would appear? Suana asked, puzzled. This sea of flowers was clearly randomly teleported here. Even she herself only knew a general location. How could Nanfeng find her position so precisely? Nanfeng smiled. Of course, it's because of me. Why would I tell you? Across the vast distance, Suana stared into Nanfeng's eyes, seeing within them a river formed by countless lines. The river radiated the power of time, connecting the past and present. The power of time. She had encountered this power when she became a god. Suana nodded slightly. I understand, you can see the future. Her judgment was correct. This was precisely the new ability Nanfeng had comprehended upon breaking through to level 48. Insight into the future. Long before the battle began, Nanfeng had already concentrated his magic power in his eyes, activating insight into the future. It could be said that, up to this point in the battle, everything was under Nanfeng's control. Nanfeng could foresee every attack and every move Suana made and prepare accordingly. Under these circumstances, how could Nanfeng possibly lose? Suana asked, I want to know, is the future you see immutable? Nanfeng replied, of course, what you see is what you get. What I see will definitely happen, and no one can change it. For example, he stopped mid-sentence, suddenly shooting upwards tens of kilometers. Almost simultaneously, the sea of flowers beneath Nanfeng's feet exploded violently, causing space to collapse and surrounding meteorites to be drawn towards him at high speed. For example, I saw you were going to detonate this sea of flowers 10 seconds ago, Nanfeng continued. His current position was precisely at the edge of the Flower Sea's blast radius. The violent explosion, powerful enough to destroy an asteroid, didn't harm him at all. Suana's expression darkened slightly. Faced with an opponent who could foresee the future, even the battle-hardened Suana was momentarily at a loss. Her every move could be anticipated and countered in advance. What was the point of fighting? Just declare her the winner, right? Suana, the outcome of this battle is already predetermined. You cannot win, Nanfeng said slowly. Hand over the divine crystal. Suana gently shook her head. If you want the divine crystal, you can come and take it yourself. Nanfeng stood still, making no move. The two sides remained locked in a stalemate for a while, neither making the first move. Suana seemed to have guessed something, a slight smile playing on her lips. I understand. The future you see is not immutable. Your eyes can see my future, but not your own. Right now, every tiny action you take will affect the future, which is why you dare not launch an attack. Am I right? Nanfeng's smile vanished. Suana was indeed formidable. In just 10 seconds, she had thoroughly grasped the weakness of his future insight. That's right, Nanfeng's eyes could see the future of all living beings. For weaker beings, Nanfeng could see the day of their death at a glance. For a powerful being like Suana, Nanfeng could only see her future within the next 10 seconds. Any further into the future was a blur, impossible to discern. In the state of future insight, Nanfeng was like a transcendent observer, a chess player, and all other living beings were merely pieces on a chessboard in his eyes. He could see the future paths of all these pieces. However, once Nanfeng himself is on the chessboard, the future course of these pieces will change. A single move affects the whole situation. The more Nanfeng acts, the more variations there will be in the future. His eyes will see more and more different future outcomes until he is lost in time. Suana was right. Nanfeng is the only variable in the future. You're very clever, Suana, Nanfeng said slowly, but you're wrong about one thing. I can actually initiate an attack. The power of time flickered in Nanfeng's eyes, a surging wave of time seemingly about to burst from his gaze. In that instant, Nanfeng saw hundreds of thousands of possible futures. If I do this first, then fire a shot over there, and finally turn around and throw a grenade. From hundreds of thousands of futures, Nanfeng chose one in which Suana would inevitably be injured. Following the guidance of this future, he launched his attack.